Okay, so, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far, wait, that's the wrong scenario, sorry. Anyways, back at Oracle Code 1, a couple of friends of mine got together, Raphael and Ronaldo, and we put together a presentation. We actually had two presentations, we kind of merged it, and then we had some fun with it. So tonight's episode is about having a little fun and interaction. So if you got your laptops, you got your IntelliJ, this code is available. We'll get to that. Well, wait. Trivia question. Theme song. Does anybody know the theme song? Okay. Star Trek, the motion picture, Ilia's theme. There we go.
All right.
There we go.
Which one? The first one?
Star Trek, the motion picture is the first one.
Oh, of course.
Yes. And if you went to the theatrical release, they actually, kind of like in the olden days, they had the star screen going with the theme song going, that music going for the first 15 minutes as you sat down. There were no previews or ads or anything.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. Okay, so, all right, as always at Oracle Code 1, aka Java 1, you had to have a safe harbor statement of some sort. This is ours. It does have the link to the GitHub, so there is where you can go and grab the code. I haven't checked into fixes for Java 13 yet, so you can watch along and go along with us. Yeah, and if you read it, you should snicker towards the end. Has everybody finished reading it a little bit? Okay, thank you, Paul. That's right. We're warping to a new era. So we did have a lot of fun with this one. So here's the JDK solar system, aka 96 through 2009. We have, a few planets, 5 orbiting the nice yellow sun there. Everybody was kind of happy. And what's this but the sun was succumbed to the forces of business and a red giant was formed, Oracle. And it sucked up a lot of planets. Destruction and mayhem everywhere. Eventually, though, the present day JDK solar system, we've got a few planets in stable orbits. We got some planets in hyperbolic orbits, which mean they're not going to be around for very long. And so we kind of mimic that with our JDKs. All right, so let's see. Let's warp out to the first planet, JDK 6, which is about to be absorbed by the red giant. Is JDK 6 still available? Does anybody know? Does anybody care? Okay, how many people are on JDK 6 or below?
And we'll admit it.
There's a you're in the banking industry, sir? What's the JDK that you guys are on?
Somewhere between, one product is on 8 and one is on 11.
Oh, wow. Very progressive company. Excellent. ResMed, we are on 7 and 8, and some new work is on 12, maybe 13. Probably not 13, but they were doing 12. Progressive we are. Okay, so this challenge, the confused crew. So we let you guys read the code. Can you read the code in the back? I know it's kind of far good. All right. So. Now you have your time limit sequence. What's this code going to do? Can you help the crew? And if you guys all know this, cue me, like you guys are ready for the answer. Well, Duke, help us. Cued out. Where's Duke gonna land? D. Oh, why is that? Well, take a look. We put Worf into the array. Stick Odo in there first, and then we add last Scott. So, seems very straightforward. Arrays can be tricky, though. Are there any questions on this one? Okay. So now, here's a question for the audience as a whole. Do you want to see this actually work in IntelliJ? Would that be useful? Quick poll, raise your hands if you want to see IntelliJ. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, quick hands, you don't want to see IntelliJ.
I like the sound effects.
So are you gonna put up the link again to the GitHub code?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we'll do that again. Let's see if this will actually work. IntelliJ. And control zoom. Oh, come on. Nah, well, maybe that's not a good idea. Nobody can read that, right?
Increase the font.
Yeah, I was trying to do the zoom with the control, but it wasn't working. Plus?
You go to preferences and set the font larger.
Yeah, that's always.
Or you can put it in display mode. Presentation mode.
Presentation mode, yeah, that's under the view and enter presentation mode. Okay, there we go. Let's do that. Unrehearsed, should never try that. Okay. Now is Zoom work anymore? No. But of course, to run the code now is will it show it? Okay. Now, of course, how do you exit presentation mode? Because I'm on the wrong one. So this is the awkward silence, and maybe we will not do that again until it gets more complicated. I'm still not going to look for music. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. And what could possibly be going wrong here? No, I'm still on the wrong one.
You're setting the lengths to 2 there, so if you set the lengths to 3.
Yeah. So I was looking for is the wrong challenge here, so
I gotta tee it up.
yeah, they're all teed up. So, all right, we will punt. So you code, don't forget to download the code. All right, so moving back into our challenges. This is the one I just ran, so. Oops. Let's see. Maybe time to read it. Nobody saw that answer from the last run, right? Okay. Everybody done? I know which one? It's A, B, C, or D? You got a guy in the back, he's looking. Can you save the crew? No, can't read it. It's too small. Dramatic end. All right, let's see what Duke says. So, Spock, Scott, and array index out of bounds. How many people saw the array index out of bounds on the code I just read? Okay. So, gave the answer away. All right.
Who's Quark? I don't remember Quark.
Deep Space Nine.
Oh, okay. That's why.
That's right. Yes. So yeah, the two guys, one's from Brazil and one's from Dublin, and they're a little bit younger than me. They actually didn't know about Star Trek, the original series. So it's like, okay. So they did some research. I sent them some spoilers, but then they picked out the Next Generation. They picked out Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and they kind of mixed it all together. All
Gotcha.
right. So as you can see by the yellow that came up as we were talking, Spock, Scott, 2, and 2 is the array index out of bounds because it starts at 0. Any questions on this one? We'll get better. So let's warp out to a more recent JDK. Number 7, how many people are on 7? Oh, okay, there we go, sort of. Yes, good. I think you have to get off of 7, right? Pardon?
I just started to think about it. No, I'm on 8 actually.
You're on 8. Well,
So
that's,
I'm withdrawing my vote too.
okay. So these are all backward compatible. I am running this in JDK 13, so they still work. Okay, door malfunction. Let's see. So let's go through A, B, C, and D again. Doors. And the question is, what's the code going to do? We've got a couple of ship doors here. We got an exception. We got an override method. Okay. A little bit more challenging, so the tissue compiler is going to work a little bit more unless you've already downloaded it from GitHub. Okay. Compiling going on here, we can see.
Squinting going on here.
Right?
Okay, so how many people say A? Any A's? Any B's? C's? You got a C?
No, B.
B. Fail to open B. We got another B. All right. Quick compilers. Any D's? Oh, we got a D over here. Okay. So commonality is everybody knows what a finally does. So it rules out one of the answers. Let's see where we're going to go with this one. Okay, Duke's coming in, and it's C. There we go. So ship door open is the first one. Throw a runtime exception, but we must override our close. Got to get executed, and then we're down to system out and system out the end. So this is an interesting feature, is that we're implementing auto closable. So the close is going to happen. Okay, so interesting. Yeah, Spock would say that. Or maybe fascinating. So this one probably takes. Let's go and run the code. Ship door episode 1. Okay. Ship door episode 2. Yeah, okay. So we don't want array copy challenge. Ship door episode 1. There we go. Click it. And okay, so you can't see that. Let's go in. Somebody can see it, right? Yeah. Okay, so fail to open door, ship door is closed, and the end. Ship door episode 1. Okay. So let's go ahead and run this guy. And there we have it. Ship door is closed, fail to open door, and the end. So everybody gets the sequence of events.
So that's because you're implementing auto-closing
Right. Yeah, if we didn't, let's see, could we do
with
that?
the override.
Yeah, if you took that off, it would compile because you.
We'd probably have to take the override out too.
Yeah. Okay, guys. This is,
Yeah.
yeah. Kill the override. Why is that not gonna happen?
Yeah, you can't do
You
that.
guys can do it, probably.
It has to be moved that into
Ah.
the.
Okay. So that's far enough down the rabbit hole. It works like it is and you guys understand it. That's the cool part. Has anybody used auto-closable before? Oh, okay, cool. Great. Does it work as expected, as you desire it to? That's good. All right. Okay, moving on to our next challenge. The door malfunction, episode 2. Can you imagine that? 2 doors are malfunctioning. You wouldn't want to be on the Starship if your doors were malfunctioning. So, here we go. Let's see what's going to happen now. I'll close the little override. It's going to be one of those, what's different between these 2 codes, if you remember the last page. Okay. Any call outs? Anybody want to voice their opinion, A, B, C, or D? None of the above? Need more time?
It's time, yeah.
Say again, Stanley?
The one with the type I can't read.
Okay, yes. This guy says array index out of bounds exception is thrown. Would you get the printing of the end after that? That's a curious question. All right. Let's see, episode 2. I'm queuing that up, give you guys some more time. Are you ready for Duke? Okay, here comes Duke. Where he lands, only he knows. C. Failed to open the door, failed to auto-close the door, and to the end. Oops. Okay, let's see, where are we at on that one? So, we open the door, and then we open and throw a runtime exception saying fail to open the door. We have a close that says runtime fail to auto-close the door. And then 4 is the message. Now we take a look at the exception and get the suppressed message, 5, and then we print out the end. So this is kind of an exception handling aspect where an exception got eaten, but yet we can still grab it and get the information out of it.
Yeah, it's like 2 exceptions at the same time.
Right. Which, has that happened to anybody?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, you don't do an error trap and another exception gets thrown and there's some exception under that, or is it you're trying to close the file with a finally and you get one exception because the try failed, you caught it, and the finally failed also? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
But, I would say probably not write code in this way, but
Frozen runtime exceptions, good would happen here. Normal methods.
yes, how many people throw runtime exceptions? How many people throw
That's like
checklists?
the only statement.
Yeah, okay. Trying to show it off. All right, here we go. I wonder if this would work. that's all we've got in here, the detailed message, there's the suppressed message, suppressed exception. So yeah. Something about the language, it's still there, it still works, and that means somebody can probably do this in real life. So when you're debugging, maybe check. Are we ready for the next guy?
Let's do it.
We've got a warp to a new planet. JDK8, it's in a long-term support orbit, meaning that Oracle will take your money, or anyone else for that matter. What's the final version of JDK8? Is it still being publicly updated? Does anybody know? Okay. Sounds like a topic for the next month, a short presentation on this stuff again. We actually had a
Isn't
lot.
that Jean talked about it last month?
Yeah, last year.
But that was last year.
That was last year. Okay, the unknown order. All right, streams. Should be a simple one here. Let's energize and see where it takes us. And Kirk, Spock, and Uhura, at least we're all in the same series. Okay. So streaming the crew, peaking, limit of 2 for each. And you'll notice, so it looks like there's 4 A and B, 4 outputs, and C and D have 5 outputs. So don't forget up there by the letter, there's an output. So, anything to stand out to anybody? Still working on the compiling? We got, I hear Kirk's. We got a D.
Yeah.
C. Right. Everybody set? All right. Let's see what Duke has to say. Flying through there pretty fast, Duke. Okay. Hey, Kirk, Spock, Spock. Streams are lazy. So, somebody explain this. Why is Spock twice? You're peaking, you're limiting, and you're for eaching. And the stream is Kirk, Spock, so you're going to limit it to 2 on the for each.
So that would give her Uhura, right?
Has anybody debugged streams before?
Her is difficult.
Yes. Has anybody, any stream experts? Okay, good.
I'm not expert, but
Oh, wait, we have
it's basically lazy evaluation. So it goes to the peak and then gets the curve.
Just,
And actually, it limits the whole thing to 2 elements from that list.
Right.
So Kirk is there, and since it's a lazy evaluation, brings the Kirk again because it's doing the for each loop,
Yep.
that print line statement, and going to the next element, Spock. So that's basically how it works, but it's hard to see from here. My eyes are not so good anymore.
No, I think let's see. I don't think we were looking for the unknown order. Here we go. Okay, we'll go ahead and make sure it actually runs as we thought. Kirk, Spock, Spock. Okay. And can you actually break? Okay. Actually, what happens if we do break in all of that? Okay. Quick, what's the command to go to the next break?
It's up there. No,
Another council.
above,
Oh,
to
Right on
right.
council.
thank you.
there.
Step over.
No, run.
Yeah, just run to the next break point, right? Which is,
You can either step over, or you can just, that little green.
yeah, so this isn't gonna, where's, yeah, I was looking for anything of an interest here, but I'm not gonna, there's no other detail. Say again? Yeah. So there's nothing else in here because it's not printing anything out, or is it gonna break at each, we've got to break at each element of the stream. Will we hit those 3 times or 9 times? Or, yeah. Okay. So that wasn't useful.
Now we know.
Yeah. So you can break inside your stream, but unless you drill down somehow, you're probably not going to see anything. Anybody have any questions on that? Because here, this is one of those topics that, yeah, it sounds like a good, you know, kind of a first order 45-minute stream topic, where you could take up the whole 90 minutes talking streams and going through one, which is, you know, something I was considering doing. Would anybody like that in the future? Or get a stream expert in to talk?
Absolutely.
Okay, you're a local stream expert, right?
No.
No!
Paul,
Yes?
could you just change the program and put the limited 2 on top of the peak
Yeah?
and run again?
You think it will change the output?
Yeah, let's see if the output gets changed.
Okay. Let's go do that. Let's get rid of these guys. Boom, boom, and boom. You want the limit on top, is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have an opinion on that? Is it going to work?
I feel like the result should be saved, but I don't know.
Good question.
Yeah, that's why we want twice.
All right. And if we just comment this guy out,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
so the order, that's kind of interesting because I thought, you know, then does it matter if we peak first or for each first?
It's actually hitting the for each first and then it kicks the peak.
Yeah, so it's going through the list, the stream, printing it when you peak and printing it when you do for each. So there are 2 print lines in there.
Yeah.
And so for every element in the list, you're doing both of them. That's what I think.
Oh,
Do it.
okay.
That's not becoming
Can you do it? No, that's not going to work, huh? Can you do a peak after a for each? Apparently not.
So, the 2 methods are, they're not sequential. So they're not sequentially right, because you get Kirk and Spock, so they
Right, yeah, Kirk, Spock, and Uhura are the list, and the crew streaming is just streaming over Kirk, Spock, and they,
yeah.
The idea is the for each is the terminator, but it's gonna for each, it's gonna peak, and it's gonna limit to 2, but you can't run peak last, so there's no test there. You can't put limit 2 last, so we've only done one change, which is the flip limit 2 and peak, and it had no effect. So,
Paul,
yes,
can you control click on peak?
control click on peak, sure. Good documentation. Returns. Is
So
peak.
all these operators basically returns the streams,
Yep.
which you hit the, for example, order by or for each, those are the very last leaf operations, terminal operations. So they don't, they just return words.
API node, this method uses mainly sort debugging, where you want to see the elements as they flow past a certain point in the pipeline. Okay, so now you know how to debug streams. Put a peak system out.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And if we really want to check the order, we can copy that example and make it print on something different. So instead of
Yeah, there
Kirk,
you go.
Kirk, you have like filter value Kirk and Kirk, or maybe it's Kirk and filter value Kirk.
Right.
You'd be able to tell which one is actually printing.
You could write peak, curve, peak, and then you could write for each in the print statement.
See, okay, so, oh yeah. Quick key to go back to the code. It's,
Yeah, actually, the peak prints first, so we change the system.error. So we have a one system out and one system error.
So the peak prints first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. The stream challenge and go quick. Okay, so we'd have to have another operation here to peak again, basically, is that?
You could just, in the peak, instead of writing system.out colon print line, you can write a lambda,
Yeah, and,
which takes E and then arrow, and then you can say print line, and then you can say E plus peak or something like that. You want me to write it?
Yeah, either that or you could just change the out to air and then the color will change.
Oh, yeah. That's easier.
So you can tell which output is coming from, which is coming from.
right, that's interesting.
Smells different word.
So now we can now see alternative.
That was unexpected. So let's put the, move it back where it was.
Yeah.
And actually, I just got it all 3 different ways. Kirk spot. Then red, Kirk, and then white Kirk.
I think for it to be consistent, you have to have comparable on the object, if it's a comparison.
And that's
Is it because system error and system out are on 2 different threads?
yeah, probably.
Alright. So they're trying to print out at the same time, basically, so you're getting them. Alright, so download the code. play around. It's kind of an interesting challenge.
Where's the code again, Paul?
Where's the code again?
It's not on your GitHub, right?
No.
It
It's,
was really long. You
let's see.
didn't have to.
Yeah. Let's see, if I say, I can say go to Git, stand by. Where did we go? Okay. Yeah, nothing's coming out. Hang on.
Well, the Lambda version has the peak back in the first two. 3 times consistently.
For some reason, my menu is... Project, there we go. Git. Well, okay, I'm ready to... Let it jump back in time. We do that a lot in Star Trek. They go back in time. All right. Of course I can. Escape. I had it, yeah, but I couldn't copy it. So now I've got it, and I can throw it into, instead of having raffle tickets in my browser, short story. All right. So Rafael De Niro, Star Trek Java Challenges.
Yeah. Oh, what I did the system error, I think you're saying.
All right. And then, of course,
That was good, yeah. I tried.
okay, is everybody be able to read that from the background?
Yes.
What's that?
See the GitHub link? Does it need it bigger? I can make it bigger.
Well, it's okay.
One more time.
Yeah. System out, system error.
Yeah, unreadable.
So I think system error is like, well, it's, I think system out is
Okay, we'll post this up on the group too.
We just do it.
All right, and did we do the door malfunction number 2, right?
We did.
Okay, working out to yes. Jump ahead. Okay, and streams are lazy if possible. The doors again. So this one's a very easy one. A, B, or C? We should have played the Jeopardy song. Is it behind door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3? Or, wait, we got something else. Unpredictable. What's that? Do I have A's? A's. B's. Any B's?
I think you get it.
C's. Any C's? Possible C here? Okay, D's.
line 5. No.
Not,
That's not line 5,
not line 5? Okay,
no. I'll say 8.
let's see what Duke says. This is a fun one. It's unexpected. It's the only one. What's going on? Indoor 0, 1. Outside variables inside lambda function.
Because under the hood it's anonymous class, and
Right.
it's just typed fine.
Yes.
That's true.
It's a trick. It's a trick. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Plus doesn't look like the land.
Door number's an int, though, right? Let's see, IntelliJ. Right. So if you do download, this is the only one where we do have a commented outline of code because it just does not compile. The compilation error. Where's our? Replace for each with a loop. Okay, that doesn't seem right. All right, there we go. So a final one element array, door number is an anonymous object. So it's just one of those things to understand what happens under the cover.
What is the post increment
Pardon?
outside the increment? And then put just door number. So move the post.
This will be just 0.
No, but if you took the post increment above,
You're talking about,
so put it above the increment,
yeah, you mean like, right, yeah. I understand what you're going.
and now put the door number without the post increment.
Yeah, but this has the same compilation error.
It's the same problem.
Because
you're inside
it as a final.
Because you're still in the
It's
lambda.
capturing as a final is in the lambda.
So can you capture it as part of the argument, like with E? Is there a way to capture it?
Well, doors for each. So the doors is A, B, C, and what we're trying to do is we're just, playing here again, we're taking an outside variable and saying we're going to increment it inside. And the information here is saying is that it's got to be final or effectively final, which means
It's not gonna change.
you can't increment it, yeah.
But the compiler, the suggestion, this shows like we can use string format to do that. If it, yeah.
It says
Go
convert
back.
to,
Yeah, oh, really?
yeah.
Oh.
They convert to atomic, move it to an anonymous object.
Oh,
What if you
because of
change-
this is not object, change it integer.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Say what?
Change the primitive to integer.
Integer, yeah, to see.
Oh, to an object?
Yes.
Should change.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. This is fun, we're experimenting. Door number does work, but we wanted to increment it.
Increment it in the next line between the list, between 9 and 10.
Between 9 and 10 is
Yeah.
outside the lambda.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not within our for each. I want to see how many times we count in the for each. So yes, you can increment it outside the lambda, but it's not going to, I mean, here again, we're just trying this boundary between normal objects and the lambda, or outside the lambda.
Can you try to convert to atomic? My theory is that it's going to make an object that's final but mess with the contents of the object.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Oh,
Look at that, an atomic integer, and it says get an increment.
Yeah, because you're not reassigning it.
This also, this trick works really well for strings. The modifying does create a string builder or string buffer, and you can do the same thing. And then you can get your modifications within your lambdas and return them.
Oh, nice. Okay, very interesting and.
Pop, you run it with the timer?
Oh, run with the atomic? Really? Okay. Ah! No. It would work, right? Undo. Control Z. Okay. Where am I? Oh, good.
I think if you do Control Y,
Okay, convert to atomic and run the class.
Yeah,
All right.
that's solution A.
Solution A. Everybody get that? That's pretty cool. Okay, so who knew about that trick in the background? You're a subject matter expert on this stuff, right?
Okay.
Yeah. No.
I just may have bumped into this.
Now you have to give it to him.
That's good.
Yes. Well, thank you for that. That was good.
Yeah.
All right. Takeaway, we're actually learning a few things tonight. This is good, besides how to not do a code presentation. Okay, where are we going to next? Anybody guess? JDK9, very good. But it's no longer with us. In fact, it was the shortest lived one. And modules. How many people use modules? Modules! Okay, we have an expert in the house. Okay. So this one's a two-parter. So you have to kind of pay attention. You have to kind of memorize these two modules. Very easy. RISA, Next Generation Vacation Planet, do whatever you want to there. And of course, Vulcan. And Defiance, the name of a ship. Now this one's a little bit of an eye test. We tried to, it's got two classes. And let's see, what else are we going on here? A couple of the main, we got an attack vector. You'll like line 6 of the second class. Dope. All right. So, and Reliance from Deep Space Nine. So, but they had RISA there too. In the same universe. So, let's go ahead and have some music. Oh, red alerts. Okay. So a couple small print, Java-Lang, reflect, inaccessible object, exception will be thrown. And we got compilation errors at 6 and 8 of the executor class. So if you're not familiar with modules, this may be tricky. We got one expert. Anyone else going to throw up a hand, A, B, C, or D? Okay. Let's see, where does Duke? Where's Duke? Duke. Come on, Duke. Oh, okay. We got A, this is from The Simpsons, so line 6 of Spock, and a reflect inaccessible object exception. So now we got line 7, set method, method set accessible to true. So we want to set this method so that it, like it says, a break encapsulation, we want to see it in a different class. The attack vector 2, and then this is where we have the exports defiant, but there's no opens clause here within the module definition. So we have to say open it up to RISA. And now we've allowed it to go through and be accessible at that method level. So, yeah.
You show the code again?
I
I
can
don't see Vulcan and RISA in the code. I was looking where.
Oh, in the code?
Yeah.
They're the modules for the class. So You can't see it.
Oh, you
Yeah,
have to see
so-
it there.
Yeah, Reliant is gonna have one and Defiant has Spark. So I hadn't opened up Reliant in that screenshot, but that's where the executor class is. So let's go into, let's see, random challenges will go away from, and we are in module land, which is more challenging to show. Come on. Okay, bring this over. Presentation mode's not going to work too well on this one. So let me try to. Anybody know where the font viewer is? Change the font size?
The preferences.
Font size on the television.
Settings.
Yeah, I was looking.
If you do Control Shift A, then you can do it just takes zoom. There should be an option for zoom with the mouse wheel.
Yeah, I was trying that earlier, but. Okay. Well, Control Shift A gives me some sort of a search bar.
Yeah, just put zoom.
Okay. Try that. Control, nothing, Control Shift A. Yeah, I'm not sure what this,
No, if you just take zoom in there, then it should give you the option.
oh, I see what you're talking about.
Although, I think we're showing up.
Wow. Did not, that was unexpected. Okay, so, structure-wise, so this was the module Defiant, and the class Spock. And then up here we have the executor and Spock go, and this guy here. So this code isn't going to run. Because we don't have the opens here. So probably best just to go back to the slideshow on this one. Okay, so we're getting the method, get declared method attack string class, and we're trying to change its accessibility. And then we invoke it, reflection, but now it's saying that, well, wait, you can't actually do that without the exports and the opens clause within your module. So basically, it's the way that modules allow you to communicate between classes on the reflective nature. And I don't know, do you use modules for anything?
Yeah, actually, they're very important in building an automation engine, and have multiple applications that basically load it as a plugin.
Yep.
Very important, the opens for anything when you're doing version and control stuff. So like juice frameworks especially, if you don't open everything, it can't find anything.
Okay.
So it's good to know.
All right. So would you use it without using someone else's framework? I mean, from a plug-in perspective, is
I mean,
it?
it's fantastic for like trying to isolation concerns.
Okay.
To worry about dependency stuff, making sure that nobody else is going to muck with you. You know, start using your private APIs, absolutely.
Right. Okay. Okay, very good. Let's continue our journey. Next, JDK 10, How many people even downloaded JDK 10 for the fun of it? All right, couple. Okay, var turnabout intruder. This is a fun one, so let's go to it. So, we got var, new var. Sounds like Jar Jar, different movie. And new var boolean is var, return true. Okay, var null. Okay, Dr. Lester's Captain Kirk is Captain Kirk of var. Holy cow. So, Dr. Lester is not Captain Kirk. Yeah. So, trivia question. What was the last episode of Star Trek? The old series. Okay. Anybody for A? B? D? C? Still thinking. How many people use var in Java? Okay, so this is a play on var because what is var? And then, you know, and then creating a var. So that's just a play on the names. All right, let's see where Duke takes us.
C.
Thinks it's C, and it's C. Look at that, very good.
It was kind of a guess.
Yeah.
I saw that return true and I figured it must be true.
There you go. So var can be used as a name. So this is the confusion part. You can use var, call it a var, and go about your merry way and just cause all kinds of confusion. When you create a new var, it's a new class, of course. And Commander Spock is that new class. Captain Kirk is a new var because it's a new class with a method. So it's actually two different classes under the covers. So Dr. Lester equals Captain Kirk, but is a var different from Kirk's var. And so that's just in there. It's not even doing anything. It's an assignment operator. Return Captain Kirk as var is going to return true because he's the only captain. So casting a null to a class to avoid a compilation error. Nasty trick. If you didn't do that, then Dr. Lester couldn't get Captain Kirk. That would throw a compilation error. So, yeah, okay. Let's go to the other code. We're almost done here. Presentation mode. Okay, so if we didn't assign, so what could Dr. Lester be if she wasn't going to be a null variable? So if I just did that, why is that happening? So null can't be a var? I'm waiting for the red light bulb to show up. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that doesn't work. So what would happen if we made her Commander Spock? But now we can't do that. So, but isn't Captain Kirk of type var already? We cast them to a var. So that doesn't do much for us there. Any other suggestions or comments?
What happens if you delete var comment spot? Just delete it from your code. That line there.
This line here, go away? Not a whole lot. Is Commander Spock used anywhere?
If you delete now the two lines 11 and 12.
Do we need that code?
Refactoring.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you can delete line 8.
Line 8, yes. Making it very simple to read.
And that's it.
That's right. The question is, what happens if I would like to have print out Dr. Lester? I don't know. This is the interesting point about this one, and saying that a local var declaration, lowercase var in this case, you can cast a null to a value type, and var lowercase v will allow that to happen. And then, casting, setting Dr. Lester to be Captain Kirk is okay. Could we set Dr. Lester to be Commander Spock? Hopefully I'm not repeating myself here. So that works too. But we know Commander Spock and Captain Kirk are two different vars. So now we're wondering what makes Dr. Lester so interesting that she could be either Kirk or Spock when you cast him out to a var. But that's basically it, just kind of var. All right. Next up, JDK 11. We said somebody's on 11, long-term stable orbit, support contracts in place. Okay, var the sequel. So var lambda. Okay. So, space seed, when worlds collide, alliance mistake, how many people saw the wrath of Khan? Okay, we got SETI Alpha 6, we got a null pointer exception. It doesn't compile. That would not be the first. And returns SETI Alpha 6. Okay. Now this is the mistake of all science fiction movies when they think that an advanced civilization with star warp technology, traveling to planets, seeking out new life, and seeing everything, can muck up the numbering system of the planets they're looking at. Yes, indeed. All right. Everybody's compiler ready? No. Not yet? Okay. So where is everybody focusing on? Is it line 8, 9, or 10? Okay, so the functional interface I space seed. Where's con? Yeah, we can't. There it is, okay. And reliance mistake. So everybody know what reliance mistake was, right? Okay, so the wrath of Khan. It's Chekhov, who was never in the Botany Bay episode, which started the wrath of Khan, beams down to the planet, and they're thinking they're on Ceti Alpha 6, when in reality they're on Ceti Alpha 5, which is where Captain Kirk dropped off Khan, the evil dictator of the 90s. Can you imagine that? You're coming in from a starship and you count these planets and you're counting from the outside in, and oh, there must have been 10 there, and now this must be number 6, and there's only 4 left. All right, go figure. What's Duke say? Hey, look at that. Okay. Keywords with lambda, var, and final var. So you have to have that keyword. So return Ceti Alpha 6 and null. So what does that actually mean in code land?
So you treat the non-object as a string? Seems like.
Hello.
There's a non-object here. You treat it as a string?
Wow, that was interesting.
Oh, forget it.
Say again?
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Run away and make sure we get it right. Ceti Alpha 6 null. Okay.
So if you comment out lines 9 and 10, does it make any difference?
Probably not.
We're just throwing in obscure codes, confuse the reader.
Work.
So here again, it's one of those, okay, you can see that we've got lambdas going here, S1, S2 to S1 plus S2, so we're just concatenating 2 streams. Okay, so the quick question is, can we get rid of that keyword?
Probably.
Still works.
Can you get rid of the 2 vars? Probably too.
Well, if we get rid of the 2 vars, are we any different from this guy up here?
But it's a different worlds collide then you have to, it's not reliant mistake.
True, but from a compiler perspective, yes. If we get rid of the 2 vars here, it's basically syntactically the same. And if we set it up to be outside and just call it, 2 strings. And
So that lambda there is the implementation of the collide method that is defined in the interface.
right.
The thing is they put the non-object into string as string noun. That's interesting. The line 12, see the noun there? That's supposed to be non-object. But we cast it into the string array.
Right. So what we're saying is take the 2 values coming into collide, set the alpha 6 and null, so null comes in, and it's attached to the var and concatenated. So null is actually coming in and being, is it being stringified? Okay. All right. So basically what the JDK 11 allows you to do is put this kind of a prefix into the lambdas.
I just have a question. Why would you want to put that in there? Like, why do you need a final or a bar? It just seems like extra letters that you don't need. Is there an advantage? Or you can do it? It's
Yes, you can do it.
You can do it, okay.
Yes. Yes. Somebody will figure out a reason to use it. And it goes along the way with, why are features added to any language? I mean, somebody thought about it for a while and then they had to make sure it worked within the entire language, so I have no idea. I think when we did this example, we were trying to come up with an example that was kind of fun as to how you can use this keyword inside a Lambda now. Great! What for?
Right.
No, but sometimes you declare an argument to a method as final.
Okay.
And that tells you that when you're reading the code, you're not going to reassign anything to that argument. So if your lambda definition is huge or big, it just makes the code sometimes a little more readable.
Okay. All right. Cool, let's get out of town and go to JDK 12, another short-term guy. Okay, you guys can all read that in the back still, right? Stanley's already downloaded the code and compiling. And this is where we jump into, we got the doctor. So bonus points if you guess who all these characters are. So now this is an interesting thing because case statements are in preview for JDK 12. JDK 12 no longer exists. So I had to recompile this one for JDK 13 with the new case statements, which are in preview still. So subtly there is a difference in here, a keyword that you may not be familiar with. Anybody figure it out on line 12? Yield. Yes, break no longer works in this instance. It was challenging enough to try and figure out that exception. Okay, so let's take a look. Every day is a rescue day. There's a 104, no survivors, compilation at 14. And an illegal state exception a couple of times. So illegal state exception may be a winner. A, B, or D? Or do we have a C? B, you're a B. You got a C or an A? Okay, let's see where Duke leads us to. Duke. Come in, Duke. B's. Here's some yeses, somebody got it right. So we got return switch character, we got the line 12, when more than one line include a break. Gotta fix that, should be yield now. Lambdas are okay, and no throws clause. Okay, so these are kind of like what you can do with the case statement, the new improved case statement. Returning your switch. Many people have used, people are familiar with the case statement. And has anybody looked at the previews?
I've seen it in Scala, but never in Java.
Never in Java, okay. Okay. So yeah, the preview features of the case statement, they basically say is that, once they've seen it and they may have a couple of previews and then it will be fixed in the language. And this is where we saw the change between a break and a new keyword yield to come up and work. And hopefully they'll just stabilize. But they're just trying to make the case statements a little bit more easier to use with the character arrays and whatnot. Okay.
So is that syntax going to go forward? So that's a preview.
Yeah, that's the, well, yeah, I was caught off guard. I was thinking that, you know, the preview would have been put into JDK 13, but no, they extended the preview and changed it. So the idea is they want to get feedback from the developer community on, hey, is this working or not working? So they're looking for those people who are actually using the preview for something. I have no idea who those people are. So, yeah, it's like, well, and maybe those people are on the bleeding edge of you know, open source stuff, libraries and stuff that are trying to keep up with one another and go from there. All right. Do you want to see the code run?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. IntelliJ is still up. I can actually read this one. Okay, so the interesting thing I thought was really cool is the yield, or it used to be the break, but yield on a value. Take a look at that, and every day is a rescue day, no survivors. Poor guys. So is anybody what knows what this evaluates to?
10.
Okay, very good. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Moving on. Where to next? Well, JDK 13. But you've already seen something of that. So, we're done. Yeah, that was a short thing. So kind of like the stuff that we talked about here, just reviewing, you know, the LAFOQ array type, auto-closable, which is kind of interesting, suppressed exceptions if you've never seen those before, streams, sounds like we could use a little tutorial in streams, and maybe even modules. How many people are beyond JDK 8? Just a few, okay. And I know we got one at least on JDK 11, sort of. Okay. All right, var, just fun with vars. And this was the interesting thing. You look at the 10, 11, 12, 13, and then 14's coming up. Very small incremental changes. Not a whole lot's going on in that. And that was the idea of these rapid 6-month turnarounds. The switch statement being the more interesting one, in that it stayed in preview mode. Text blocks are coming, they're in preview mode still, I believe. And this is kind of like allowing you to put, you know, HTML stuff inside your text blocks, so the formatting stays the same. And triple, double quotes. More to come. We actually had somebody talk about that too. It may have been Janine last month. And of course, you know, if you want to reach out to Raphael or Ronaldo, they're very excited when I kind of hit them up and saying, hey, it doesn't compile. I'm trying to figure this out. They were curious about it too. So that was the presentation. I hope you guys all enjoyed it and some of the Star Trek trivia. Thank you all for coming. And it's probably now where I should stop recording. And we should do the raffle.